guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's doing okay. Here is another little National Trust vlog, and today we visited somewhere called Quarry Bank. Now there is multiple parts to Quarry Bank. So you've got the mill, which is the bit that I've just shown you. You've got something called Quarry Bank House. You've got the gardens and the chapel woods. You've got the apprentice house, and then you also have a style village. We didn't get to see most of the gardens, the apprentice house and the style village while we were there. Obviously between feeds and baby and everything else, it's just a bit difficult. However, here is some stuff in the second-hand bookshop that I'm currently showing you, as they also sell pre-loved books. Sometimes you can even find records and old things or little toys. Just depends what they're selling at the time of the day. Here is inside the mill manager's office. Now they used to get paid the most, and you'll see later on, I think in the vlog, where I'd gone down, I'd shown you what was sort of what, who get paid what. Obviously the man always come out on top, women being second, but obviously then you've got your children as well, aren't you? And child labour back then was a really big thing, you know. I think it said somewhere that 2 seconds, 90 children lived in the apprentice house and worked in the mill, and many of them were orphans or outcasted. So if you think about it, that's quite a lot of people, especially children. Bearing in mind you've got obviously the higher ups as well. This is basically just where they would, you know, do business, and yeah, that's basically what I'm showing you here.
I now submit my resignation. But as my 70th year approaches, it is time to hand over my responsibilities to management.
So the mill was, well, it was built in the 1700s, but it was opened in 1784. It was basically just made for cotton, but obviously as time went on, they started making their own, like, bits of cotton, like little towels, things like that. They still make it to this day, and you'll be able to see the machines coming up soon, where I'll probably have to mute because it's quite loud. I didn't know this, but the phrase cotton ears, you know, or you fell deaf on cotton ears and things like that, I didn't click in. It was actually from this industrial time where those that were working with cotton machinery and that, because the machines were so loud, you'd end up going deaf or losing hearing and things like that. So that is actually where that phrase comes from, and I didn't understand until we actually went and visited this place. Here I'm just showing you all the little bits and bobs about Samuel Gregg when he first came across. So he's the one that built the mill. He also built the house as well, so the Quarry Bank house. He built it basically as like a weekend or a holiday home sort of place, because they originally lived in Manchester. However, his wife didn't like living in Manchester, so he made a move back to the Quarry Bank house, and over time they added all sorts of extensions, took them down, vice versa, had bay windows and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, so I'm just sort of showing you what we've been to see. That's the process of what happens between the cotton. It was really good because Skylar, in a sec, she actually got to have a go of the card in her own cotton. Hello. Which I did mine off camera because I was holding baby trying to film and everything else. But Ben was like, I want another go, your mum's better. I actually got him on camera saying that I'm better for once. But no, joking apart, we would like to go back there. I'm so sorry, I'm getting a cough in a minute. We would like to go back there. It was a really nice place, and they've also got a Halloween event on later in the year. I don't know if it's costing anything or if it's free to National Trust members, but it's definitely worth a check out. I would also like to go see the apprentice house in the style village, because I know it sounds daft, but the apprentice house is where like the children stayed, and they lived there. They were sent from workhouses, even from, you know, far away. They did most of the stuff before you know, ended up getting back home and then doing more chores like gardening, housework, sewing, you know, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, the Style Village, we haven't been to there, so we don't know much about it. All we know is that families were crammed into the houses basically for work. So if you worked there, you'd probably get a house there, and they basically built the houses there just to accommodate the workers. So all we do know is that some of them lived 9 people to one house, which you think about it, the average household really, you know, you have 2 parents. If it's obviously not, you know, a broken home, you'd have your mum, your dad and a few kids, do you know what I mean? So you think about it, even if you had like 4 kids, that's still only 6 people. So it's quite a lot of people really. Coming up soon is where they actually show you the process of how they make the cotton into like cotton twine and that. Here is just some sort of, you know, little facts about the place. If you want to pause any of this and, you know, read, you can do. We're not opposed to it. If you want to go visit, do you know what I mean? I don't know how much it costs to get into this one, as I didn't see any posts anywhere about the prices. I only saw about it being free for National Trust members. However, this is some of the stuff that they sell in the mill shop, and you can buy all this there. This now, what we're showing you, is some of the equipment that they used a very long time ago. So just had a quick look. Entry prices, if you're not a National Trust member, it's £22 per adult, £11 per child, or it's £55 for a family pass, or if you've got 1 adult and 3 children, it's like £33 something. So yeah, if you've got these passes, it's really worth, you know, having them really. I think for a family pass it's like £13.80 a month, and you think about it, even if you go one of these places once a month and it costs that much, you've already made your money back, you know. And there is some really exciting things on. They always have things to do on. They've always got like woodland walks, or it depends where you go, but there's always something to do. So I won't let you listen to that for too long, but you can imagine how noisy being next to the machines all day. On that floor, I don't know if they said there was 60 or if there was 90 of them machines. Or 19. See, I've already forgot everything that I learned. But this place and another place between them had so many of these machines in the thousands. This is what the factories used to look like back in the day. And you think about it, you know, it was hard work back then, and you got paid naffle, basically like today, you know. Sorry for having a bit of a break, because well, earlier on the voiceover, my mum messaged me. We're going through a bit of a hard time with my stepdad at the moment. He's not long been diagnosed with cancer. So yeah, that's another reason why I've sort of been here, there, not there, you know. But just bear with us and we'll make our way back right soon. Anyway, sorry about being morbid, you probably don't want to know about any of that. The next room that we are going in is called a cotton pressing room, and this is where they press all the cotton. It's basically in the name. There is other places, like we said earlier, that we didn't get a chance to go and explore, and it's upsetting really. There's quite a lot of stuff to do, so you can explore loads of early industrial machinery, things at heart before we basically went into this massive industrial revolution, you know. Hundreds, if not thousands of people, you know, worked probably through this sort of factory across the country, you know, just to make ends meet. And it's upsetting really, but I suppose the country wouldn't be what it would be today without stuff like that. I mean, this day and age with the rights and everything, I don't know if that's good or bad anymore, you know. And it's a scary place to be in right now if you've got children, especially knowing that, you know, you aren't going to be around forever. What are you leaving your children to? So I really hope, you know, all this sort of nastiness in the world stops soon. it's just not needed. I tell you something, I keep getting right dark, I do, don't I? Anyway, I do have some information in front of me. So it says, here at Quarry Bank you can explore a complete world of the early industrial revolution. Hundreds of people once lived and worked among these buildings and pathways, gardens and woods. That was hard, get out. Trace their steps as you learn about their lives and how they shaped the world we live in today. Samuel Gregg built the mill and opened it in 1784. His vision was a one-stop shop for spinning cotton on an industrial scale. Margaret Maggin arrived at the quarry back when she was 10, a typical age for apprentices at a time when 2/3 of the workers were children. Samuel Gregg and his wife Hannah built Quarry Bank House right next door to the busy mill, finding it quiet and peaceful compared to Manchester. The Greggs' children, including Robert, Bessie and Thomas, played outside and would have watched the child workers coming and going. The dramatic river valley provided the rushing water to the mill's water wheel. It also inspired the Gregg family to create lavish gardens and scenic landscapes that you can walk in and play today. Robert Gregg, Samuel and Hannah's son, created a picturesque landscape of exotic planting, folly, bridges and winding pathways. Child workers lived in the apprentice house and were often sent from workhouses far away. They laboured for long hours in the mill before returning to chores including gardening and sewing. Obviously that was at the apprentice house. Peter Holling treated the apprentices when they were ill, ensuring they would be fit for work. You can also book a tour to go and see that house and on the inside of it. The Style Village were, again, like I said earlier, where they were crammed into the same houses. We also have some information about that Hannah Gregg came from a wealthy and religious family. You've got William Brow, however you say that, was once a head gardener at Quarry Bank, growing exotic plants in the greenhouses. Thomas Priestley was 9 when he came to Quarry Bank after a nasty accident. He ran away but was caught and brought back. So there's quite a lot to, find out about this sort of place, And I know it sounds daft, but it's interesting to read. And if you've got children who are interested in history and that, it's not like it's history from anywhere else. It's our history. Does that make sense? So, yeah. I just hope you've all sort of been enjoying this. What I'm showing you now is where they had, I'm pretty sure one of it said about the fact that women got paid like 2 shillings or something for like a week's work. I don't know. Might have been a day's work. No, it couldn't have been a day's work. That's quite a lot of money back then, isn't it? But yeah, it also says here that Thomas Priestley was brought to Quarry Bank as an apprentice, but he lost his finger on his left hand in a machine accident. So that's the accident it was on about, isn't it? It says, nestled in the valley, Samuel Gregg built a family home next door to the mill. He was so proud of making it a short and easy commute. Try and see if there's anything else I can tell you. Peter Hewitt came to Quarry Bank as an experienced engineer, and he introduced steam power alongside the water wheel running the mill. Workers passed across the fields to reach work and travel home again, sometimes in the dark. Style was once a tiny hamlet. As mill workers flooded into the area, the village grew to accommodate them. There's so much stuff, honestly, you can find out. I'd say it's worth a look in if you passing through, if you live near, or even if you want somewhere to travel to and find out a bit of history along the way. It also says here that gardeners grew pineapples, melons, apricots and other plants in the glass house to impress the family's guests. You can go inside that apparently and feel a warmer climate. Robert Gregg and his brothers and sisters used to use Chapel Woods as a playground. As an adult, Robert reshaped the woods to form a dramatic and playful landscape which continues to develop today. Folly bridges and exotic trees enhance the natural drama of the landscape in Chapel Woods, a pleasure ground for the Gregg family. William Rose started to use his life as an apprentice, but Rose to become head gardener for the Greggs. He married and lived in the gardener's cottage with his family.
Thanks for finding this one.
They've got a learning centre inside the mill, and Skylar learned how to weave her own cotton. Yeah, I don't know. They used to make rugs or bits of tapestry and things like this back in the day this way, didn't they? She really enjoyed herself, you know, so I can't complain. Okay. They had loads of activities inside, which is what I'm showing you now, and that shop there is called the Mill Shop, and that's the shop where you can get all your bits and pieces from, your cloths, your tea towels, your dishcloths. And Skylar was over the moon. She found some crystals in there, so yeah, she came home with a load of crystals. They weren't bad, to be honest. I think they were £2 a box, so I think she picked up 4. Why not, eh? You can't take your money with you when you go, can you? And this is just me showing you the old-timey games, the old-timey clothes, shoes, you know, whatever they had to offer really. And I just had a bit of a peek outside. That was Hannah Gregg, I believe. And then I think later on I'll show you Samuel. I think he was at the top though, so it took me a bit of time getting round to him because over there. Here is Samuel Gregg. There's his painting for you if anyone was interested. I'm not too sure who that guy is. And he is the workers of the mill, and if you can see, if you can zoom in, the wages for them are on the far side, and it's, yeah, not very much that were paid. Basically like us, you know, the top of the top get full whack, and us little creatures on bottom get, you know, pence. You know, it's how the world works, isn't it? You know, you have to keep sort of rolling and ruffling a few feathers and seeing what works for you and your family. Here is part of some of the school. They had their own schools on site. All this that you're seeing is still in the mill house. We haven't even left or, you know, sorted anything else out. This is the top floor, and it's called Storytelling and Exhibition. I can't say that word. You know what I'm trying to say. And all this sort of stuff they've made themselves using the cotton downstairs that you would have seen by now. These are story makers of your clothes. As you can see, it's quite a lot of information, so if you want to pause and have a read, you know. And I agree with this. We don't often think about people that make our clothes. We just throw them on our backs and wear them around. But after visiting this mill, you know, I'm actually eye-opened about the process that actually goes into making our clothing as we wear them today. There was a post as well a few bits ago about the fact that the volunteers know how to use the equipment that they used hundreds of years ago, and I just want to say how impressive I think that is, because let's face it, most of us wouldn't know where to even begin, you know. Where do we put the bits? How do you stop it if it gets a knot in? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so much sort of complex things to each part, and then you've not only got them parts, you've got to think about what would happen if it go wrong. And yeah, I'm just thankful that I don't actually, you know, do this for a living, because yeah, I've only got tiny hands and I'd rather not lose a finger. Hiya, so I don't know what's happening, but every time I record a little bit of a segment, it disappears. So if you hear this, sorry for the random little bit, you know, 'tis what it is. We are a few days later anyway when I first started recording this, because life just gets in the way, doesn't it? Like, time passes so fast. And to be honest, it's stuff like this video that make me realise that no one's invincible. No one lives forever, and we should really just appreciate and respect what is now. I mean, I know that that's hard to do at the moment when everyone's rioting, and we just live in a time where people don't get punished for their crimes, and then they're let back out on the street, and then it happens again, and, you know, it is just one sort of vicious circle, and hopefully, you know, see, I'm one of those where I'm very historical. I like stuff like this that you're watching, and I do believe that if you take a life, that doesn't mean that you get off in 15 years with good behaviour. That to me, you've taken someone's life. That to me means your life should be taken, whether it's sat in a prison cell for the rest of your life, or, you know, in the past they used to do the death penalty, you know, things like that for those that did vicious crimes, you know, trees and things like that. You know, I'm still a big believer in stuff like that. Like, the reason our country is so soft, so impressionable, is because the justice system just isn't there. Do you know what I mean? Like, where has it gone? Like, what happened to you will pay for your crimes? Like, at the moment, all these I know they'll say it's not all about it now, but all this started because some little girls wanted to see Taylor Swift at a dance school. And my little girl goes to dance school, and that really hits home for me, because what if it was her dance school? You know, like, what if something happened to her? And then you've got all these people rioting, taking advantage of shops, taking it out on other members of the public, you know, like, it's just not on, it's not acceptable. Like, we all live and bleed the same. Like, there's good and bad in everyone. I don't care who you are, and if anyone will try to tell me otherwise, but there is good and bad in everyone, and it's things like this that I'm posting that make me realise that there is good and bad in everyone. But remember, not everything will be remembered. You can keep rioting. Your points and reasons won't matter in time. They won't, you know, like, I get the whole protesting or whatever like that, but you can have friendly, nice protesting. You do not need to be this vicious, this vindictive, and this horrible against humanity, you know, like, in a sense, everyone is our brother and sister, and we should all be treating each other with respect and kindness. Do you think people like this, that, you know, all these migrants and that had to work in these mills for how many hours a day, making history, making the clothes that we wear on our backs, you know, like, I just think it's an eye-opener personally, you know, but obviously, what do I know? You know, I'm only a nearly 30-year-old woman who obviously knows nothing in life, but, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. The last thing I'll say is, I appreciate history so much because you try to learn about those that were here before you, and you can't. You can listen to a story about Samuel, you know, like we're hearing today. You will never truly know that man. You will never truly know his wife. You will never truly know his associates. You will never know his orphans that worked there, because that is how life is. And I'm not trying to be like nasty and negative. I just want people to appreciate what we've got in life and how we've came to get this far in life. Does that make sense? But I completely went off topic there. You're supposed to be seeing a load of nice gowns and, you know, all the history to do with it. But if you do and you are interested at any point, please just pause the video, have a read through anything. You know, it is a lovely experience to know that stuff like this still exists today, or the recreations that happened because of old photographs, things like that. Which I was under the impression, you know, I couldn't get photos from back when I was a kid. It's nice seeing like photos from like the 1700s, the 1800s, and I know most of them are like hand painted. But again, what an art, what a craft. Like, it's just amazing to know that there's people that lived and they could do stuff like that. And today, people can't be asked to get out of bed, do you know what I mean? It's, oh, what a different time we live in, guys, honestly. I like these. These were actually one of my favourite parts about visiting. Like, what do you still use in your wardrobe that's, you know, probably 30 years old? Could have been passed down from a grandma, a great auntie, you know, like great granddad. You know, what do you have in your wardrobe? Like, I just think that stuff like this is fascinating to know that people still wear their old relatives' clothing. And I'm not gonna lie, clothing back then was made much better than it is today, and that's because so much time and dedication went into it, whereas now you've just got factories whipping them up, you know, whipping them out and wiping, if you know that saying. Yeah, I do love, or like, look at these like little coats, and or they've recreated something like that dress she made when she was 10, like, do you know how heartwarming that is? Like, you know, look at that old lady, like, just embracing life and what she'd done. You know, I love, like, suits like that, you know. She's kept it for such a long time because it was one of her first ever suits. And, yeah, I like these as well. These ones, where there's two gentlemen on, they are both like wartime, all in one cloak sort of thing, like coats, like trench coats. And I just think it's amazing that, you know, as you can see that by that Ben Winter loving life, really. Oh dear, you know, it took me so much for him to, like, you know, come on, it's part of history, like, enjoy it while you can. That lift thing was a bit scary, to be honest with you. Like, once you go in, there's just like the glass doors shut behind you, and then all of a sudden it's like you're in a different sort of world, and then you've got like screens which tell you the weather and that.
Going down.
You're going down.
Doors closing.
25 to 2.
So we are now probably about a week and a half later. I am so sorry for the late, you know, talking to you, the late voiceovers, no videos, etc. We've just had so much going on between healthcare appointments, housework, children, summer holidays, keeping them entertained, you know. It's kind of hard with too, not gonna lie. Not in this sense as, you know, oh my god, it's overwhelming and you can't cope. It's just that life gets in the way, you know. So if you've sent me a message, if you commented on something, just know I will respond. It just might take me, you know, a little bit longer than usual to reply to you. If you can hear like a dull zzz in the background, it's because the fire's on and it's something past 6 in the morning. Benji's been refusing go to sleep for the last how long, so I'm just editing this video while he's having his little tired exhaustion moment. But anyway, I know I've already asked how everyone is in this video already, but I'm not going to sit back listening to how much voiceover I've already done. God knows what I've rambled on about, so yeah, you're just going to have to listen to me ramble a little bit more. This was a section part of, you know, the steam bit. So this was called the mule room, as you can see there. Pause it if you want to read more. I can't really see it from this angle unless I zoomed in. So, and obviously I'm not going to do that, otherwise I'd have to stop the voiceover, and yeah, it's a load of bother. But yeah, they do this, and then further down was a massive like wheel, and in the room before I showed you like in the glass box where it got like the little wheel that turned in the water. Well, that is part of the mill. They actually use that, and they wanted to sort of level it up on an industrial scale, so they used that and steam power to get the ball rolling, essentially. Can I just say, I love all pieces of wood like that are really old school with old style stuff attached to it. It makes my heart so warm, honestly. And I know I shouldn't be getting emotional at like something past 6 in the morning, but here I am. Here we are going down into the steam engine bit now. So further down here is where you can see the massive wheel turning in the water. They have got lights to show you how it sort of turns, but you can't really see that good on a camera. I did try my best, but yeah. I was kind of wondering what that figure was approaching it then. I think it was Ben or Skylar. Kind of had an heart attack. But yeah, so that was the water power, as you've just seen, part of it. And then you've got the steam engine to it, the other direction. They also had a massive boiler, which you can actually walk on top of to get to like the front of it, where they do to shovel coal, which you'll see probably coming up soon. These were just to show children about how gears work, about once you put all the clogs together, simultaneously they'll start, you know, turning. As you can see, Skylar had a bit of a play. Here essentially is like the book of what was to happen. Obviously, it's fake, you can't read the book. And then there's this whole sort of timeline of events that's sort of laid out for you to watch. So part of it had like little mini screens on which you could watch while you read. It was really bizarre. Now we're just on the way to basically seeing what was down these stairs. So I think this is partly where they got more of the water from to like keep pumping it through. There was something that while we were there, we understood that while people were going through issues with water and that, they were still pumping it through the mill to get the cotton machines working, to get the power working and things like that. However, I'm not too sure, looking back on it, what was actually said, so I'm not going to quote myself if, you know, I can't remember it. As I said, it is quite a long time ago now. So in this room now, so there would be where you could do like your little maintenance work, and then the door the other side was actually Samuel Gregg's office. I don't know how that worked out, because obviously you saw the other office in the other bit, unless that was like a administrative manager's room, I don't know. Here we are going to see all the steam engine bits now. So the lady actually took Skylar to go see more bits up close and to go see up the chimney. That's what I think we're doing here. Yeah, there we go. We're having a look up the chimney. And then there was these like little interactive screen things where it could show you how the coal would heat up, how the pistons would help make the steam engine move, creating motion in there. And you could have a go at like putting it in order yourself. I gave up after a couple of things because I thought, you know what, it's for a child's, you know, learning purpose, isn't it? So this was enough for me. And then this is on top of the boiler, so that down there with the little like wheel looking things, what I'm showing you now is actually the boiler. And then once you go to like the other side, I'll show you in a second, it's what I was on about before, where you could actually shovel the coal in the front. So that was another door to like obviously a different room, but then yeah, I'm assuming that was access to get into that coal thing without, obviously, because you wouldn't want to be walking on top of that boiler while it's going, you know, 10 million miles to the dozen with heat and everything else. Because let me tell you something, if that went up, you probably wouldn't be alive anymore. We're now just coming up to like the last part of when we were inside the mill. Let me tell you, Quarry Bank has so much more to offer. There is a lower garden, there's an upper garden. Like I've said to you before, there's also the Quarry Bank house. There's just so much to do at this one place that you can't get it all done in a day, despite the leaflet telling you otherwise. Here as well as just some information on the wall about the workers and that. So if you again are interested, please pause the video, go and read them, check them out, you know. And then just a bit further up here, there's a little bench there, but here you can see the steam engine going at work, and then the windows open because it produces that much heat, which I know is sort of self-explanatory, but you know, not everyone will be like, oh really. This is when we actually came outside the building. This was the wheel from the outside point of view, and then you walk up that cobblestone area to get back round to the front. Inside the mill shop, where Skylar could decorate her own wish thing, as you can see there.
Pull up the other side if you want, can't you?
Yeah. There you go, you got your wish on the tree now.
So is that the wishing tree?
Yeah.
Hi.
There you go. Come on then.
Do you need to do that?
So towards the end, Skylar started misbehaving, so we actually came away from here. We attempted to go in the gardens, but you needed your little blue pass, and then we lost the little blue pass, and then we found the little blue pass. Oh, it was just a load of mither. I think they need to do like wristbands or something instead of like these little flimsy card things that are easily lost. But anyway, this was inside the Quarry Bank house. So these are just random letters and that I don't know if you could read or not, but I'm pretty sure on the other side, one of the rooms, it had like a conversation between a few different people, and I'm not sure that that's what them letters were. However, I didn't want to touch them in case, you know, they crumbled and fell apart and then I've just like broke history or something, you know, because that's what I'm like. I'm a bull in a china shop, just like Skylar Grace. I think that's where she gets it from, bless her. I think that's someone's old crocheting of like the family tree, or it could be new and like being a recreation, I'm not too sure. And then this is some paint work above the house. Apparently there was like because it's a Georgian house, apparently they built a window, even though you couldn't see out the window in this room that we're in, and they still paid window tax for that window but couldn't see out of it, just so that the building was symmetrical, which I think is a bit too far, but obviously back in the day things had to be symmetrical and things like that, so each to their own, I guess. Here's a couple of like letters and inspiring stuff, and then you've got the dining room, would you say? And I just went around showing you like the placements of who sat there. Someone had a lot of time on their hands to go around doing all these little napkin kind of, yeah. I'm sorry, I've only just realised I went round a bit too fast. You only had 10 minutes around this house, so obviously I kind of tried to get as much in as I possibly could. One for our memory, and two for, you know, so you can see what it's about and if you were interested. And over the other side of men is where this conversation happened between three people. So yeah, apparently this conversation happened in the 1800s. Obviously I can't say if it was real, if it happened or not, because I weren't born yet. The same as a lot of us who were watching this video. This was like the back door of the house. A couple of like children's toys lying around, and then there was a staircase that led upstairs, even though it said staff only. I really did want to go and investigate, but I didn't. I was a good girl. And yeah, that's pretty much it for in here. So guys, we're now leaving. There's still the apprenticeship house that we haven't done, the style village, and a few other things, like the gardens and that. But it's past 3 o'clock now. It is a Sunday. And I know that they haven't got school, it's the school holidays, but Ben's still got to go work and everything else. And it takes me an hour drive, so yeah, I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you very soon.